In online marketing, your business's web presence is the touch point for your visitors. As such, it must project your company's personality. We continue our discussion with consulting psychologist Jim Lynn on the topic of engaging human beings online. This is Vidiotheque, where every week we try to help companies make the most of their online marketing. I'm Scott Combs. I hope you'll like our videos and share them with your friends and colleagues. In our experience, selling to people isn't a technique. It's about engaging with another human being. How can we think about that engagement when our customer is interacting with our website?
What a great question. You got me thinking about it because it's a challenge online, but you still online, you still create a persona. You create a brand and an image. And I'm thinking about, there's one person that I follow, I won't mention his name, but I don't open up many of his emails. And why? Because he's constantly sort of pushing and selling. He's got a lot of call to action buttons that want me to buy something on every email that I get from him. Whereas a more positive example, Seth Godin, I read his stuff. He's constantly educating me. He's giving me and it might just be a little 40-word or 400-word blog, but they come at me every day. I open them up and I read them religiously. Why? Because there's value. Here's a guy who is a marketer, but he acts and behaves more like a psychologist than he does a marketer. He's got some great value and ideas. So the persona that he's projecting online is one of integrity, authenticity. I want to help you. I want to educate you. I want to encourage you to be the best that you can be. And every now and then he offers a little book or a little workshop or something. And it's fine. I love it. But it's not. He doesn't bombard me every day like this other person does. So yeah, I think there is a way for us to use this knowledge of how we present ourselves online in a way that can connect and draw in more and more people.
Now, there's something about the way Seth Godin makes you feel that seems to inspire you. Can you talk about that a bit?
Right. In fact, I share. When I get a particularly intriguing blog from Seth, I'll make a copy of it, save it in a file that's attached to a certain area that I'm working in, or I'll send it to 3 or 4 of my friends and colleagues, or I might even send. I'm working with a number of peer groups. I might even send some of his blog articles out to some of my clients and their peer groups. If you think about, let's talk about one of the highest levels of customer satisfaction is customer engagement. There was a article a few years ago in the Harvard Business Review called "The One Number You Need to Know," and it was an empowerment and engagement number. It was basically asked by asking one question: would you refer a friend or neighbor to use this product or service on a scale of 1 to 10? And if you rated 9 or 10, you were at that highest level of empowered or engaged. And if anything below that, if you were in fact even a 7 or 8, you had a mild concern or issue or problem. And 1 to 6, you were dissatisfied. So just by asking that one question, you could triage the responses into a dissatisfied customer, someone that has a minor problem with your product or service, or someone who's truly engaged and is a promoter of your service.
I think about all the advice to get on Facebook or Pinterest or Google+, to tweet 50 times a day, create white papers or webinars, and this advice seems to reduce marketing and sales to a technique rather than a relationship with another person. It also seems to me it's never not about the human at the other end of this communication. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I think that's everything. That's to go back to Seth Godin again. He doesn't. I don't think he Twitters and has Facebook accounts and Instagram and all that stuff. He has a daily blog, and he has hundreds of thousands of followers. So the idea, I think, is being authentic. Go back to being real, being authentic, sending out your message, and having I think part of the deal here is your message has to be not only real, but there's got to be some intent to just help people and educate people. It's not just constantly getting them to, I want to buy something. A lot of people make the mistake of getting ahead of themselves and going too quickly for the sale. I mean, as we talked about in this buying process, I think first they need to buy you, then they buy your product or service, then they start to buy the other detail. But finally, they'll buy the time. Okay, now it's time to actually buy. But before they get to the time, they have to buy you, and they have to buy your product and service, and they have to be able to trust you and trust your intentions. And people that come on in person and on the web with these quick closing call to action buttons when I'm not ready, that just turns me off. But now when I am ready, it's interesting because on the opposite hand, sometimes I'm ready to buy and I'm on a web page and I don't see any place on there about how can I buy the damn thing. I mean, so that's an interesting issue too. Some organizations or website designs are too shy and others are too aggressive. So I guess what I'm saying is I think there's a sweet spot there in terms of how you build your web. I mean, I'm not a website person, but I know about the psychology of buying, and people are ready to buy at different times. And when one of my favorite sayings, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So when the person's ready to buy on the website, we ought to have some kind of call to action button so they can buy.
If you like our stuff, click the subscribe button, then share it with your friends. Leave comments, questions, and more on the blog, at YouTube, or at the email address on the screen. Thanks for watching. Now get out and do something.